best, but it's about your son Joe that I would like to have words.
Surely there's been no trouble. You won't find a more honest and hard-working lad than Joe in all of Nottingham, nay, in the whole world.
Indeed, quite so, quite so. In fact, he's just the sort of young man that I would like to have in my business. I'm in urgent need of a bagger, and I feel sure that young Joe would suit me very well. What do you say to that?
Well, I would sorely miss him from the farm, but if his life be with you, then I have to say so be it. But the lad will speak for himself.
This is not the place for such a discussion. If it should be that Joe wishes to join my employment, would you ask him to be at my warehouse on Monday morning at 7 o'clock sharp? And mind, I cannot stand unpunctuality. I bid you good day, Mistress Field.
Good day, sir. I'll give the lad your message.
How's it going then, young Joe?
Not so bad, Mr. Herring. We could do with a few more customers, though.
Well, it's the warmest summer that I can remember in many a year. I think there's lots of people in the alehouses. Come to that, I could do with a drop of ale myself.
Right you are, Mr. Herring. There's no more refreshing draught than a cool tankard of Nottingham ale.
They do say. They do say.
They do say. Oh, they do say. It's the stone cellars that keep it so cool and tasty.
Mr. James came to see me at the market today. He wants you to work for him as a bagger.
Yes, I overheard the conversation. I've been thinking about it.
If you become a bagger, you'll be working against your own. Don't even think of it.
No, Jenny, it's not up to you to tell your brother what he should do.
Times are hard enough without one of our own turning master.
I wouldn't be master. Providing yarn for the knitters, but collecting their work for Mr. James is hardly likely to hurt anyone.
Well, not if Mr. James pays a fair wage to the weavers for their work and doesn't overcharge for the hire of a frame. But if he doesn't, you'll be the one to face the angry men.
I hear tell Mr. James is one of the best in these parts. His rates are the best and the fairest.
It depends on what you call fair. The Powell family in the village get only 7 shillings a week in return for Mr. Powell's 10 hours a day in the frame, Mrs. Powell nearly as long at the seaming, and the children forever winding bobbins. And they still need help from the overseers of the poor to make ends meet, what with the price of bread and essentials.
Yes, but without Mr. James's payments for their framework, where would they be?
It's all right for you to talk like that, young Joe, but people around here look very well when our menfolk were working in the fields and not away fighting the pony.
Yes, you're right. But times have changed, and we must change with them. You have the farm here and no shortage of hands. Jenny has a nice little extra income from her lace making. I can always come back to the farm if I'm needed. But it's my opinion the future will hold more changes yet. If I can get into a growing business like Mr. James's, why, I see the day when I can make ladies of both of you. Provide with a mansion and your own servants.
It is more likely what you have in mind is a sly wish to get close to acquainted with that young Miss James I saw you eyeing at the fair.
Little chance I would have with that fine lady. But come to that, I don't remember many young men giving you the eye at the fair.
No, stop it, you two. Times are certainly changing. People are moving away from the farms and into the new towns. Joe is right. A bright young lad like our Joe here could do very well as a hosier. Might even become a gentleman like Mr. James.
Thank you, Mother. Yes, I think I will take up Mr. James's offer. But you can be sure of one thing, I will never leave my home with you and Jenny here. This is where I truly belong.
The simple fact is that they take the frames to the cottagers when required and bring back the finished work when it is ready. There is nothing else for them to do except to keep their accounts, a task which only takes an hour or so. In any case, they're only paid for the work that they deliver.
Well, I hope you'll reduce the rates to pay for the cost of that extra bagger.
There is enough bad feeling among the men now without stirring up more trouble.
What can a few ignorant workers do? Surely we have the law on our side, and the authorities would soon be out to stem any trouble.
Sadly, not so, my dear. There are groups of men going around calling themselves followers of General Ludd, whoever he may be, they hold meetings, smash frames, and the authorities seem powerless to stop them.
Well, they better not try anything like that here. I have friends in the city whose husbands have authority, and the militia would soon be out to stem your trouble.
That won't be necessary, my dear. I enjoy good relations with our men. If this man Joe proves suitable, I shall take him on as a bagger at the same rate as the others.
Your softness will be our ruination, Joseph.
Joe Field is here to see you, sir.
Ah, thank you, Mrs. Trumper. Please show him in. Ah, Joe, I take it you are interested in the position offered.
Yes, sir.
Do you know the duties required of a bagger?
I think so, sir. I'll be required to take the frames to the cottagers and return any that need repair and encourage others to take on more frames. And I would also be required to deliver the yarn and return the finished garments to the warehouse.
Yes, you understand very well. You will also be required to keep an account of frames under your control and to note the quantities of yarn and work that you deliver and bring back. You will be paid on the basis of trade you produce. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes, sir. I've been talking to the other baggers and I'd be happy to receive the same rates if that is the case.
You will be paid the same rates as the other baggers. However, there will be a probationary period during which time your rates may be cut if you fail to meet our standards. Do you accept that?
Yes, sir. That seems very fair.
We will require certain undertakings of you.
I've brought my accounts for the master.
Thank you, Joe. Please, place them on the table. I'll let Father have them when he turns in the market. And Mother has gone with her.
Emily, I'm sure you know how I feel about you. And I have reason to suppose you feel the same way about me. Please, I beg of you, let me approach your father to gain his approval for me to pay you court.
No, Joe, the time is not right. Father is a sensible man and may well approve such a match, but my mother is strict in the old manners and will not countenance a marriage beneath me, and she would surely regard you as not of our class.
I'm as good as any man. I will own my own farm one day.
Yes, I know that, but Mother regards me as a yeoman, and she sees me as the daughter of a gentleman, a very unequal match.
I have ambition. I intend to make a success of my career in the hosiery trade. With hard work and a little luck, I will be the manager of a new warehouse. This is the future, and I intend to be part of it. And what is more, I look to have you as lady at my side. In Nottingham there lives a lass more bright than May morn, whose charms all other maids surpass, a rose without a thorn. This lass so neat, her smile so sweet, has won my bright goodwill. I crouch resigned to call her mine. Sweet lass of Nottingham, sweet lass of Nottingham, sweet lass of Nottingham. I crouch resigned to call her mine. Sweet lass of Nottingham. Ye zephyrs gay that fan the air and wander through the grove. Oh, whisper to my charming fair, I die for her I love. This lass so neat, with smile so sweet, has won my right goodwill. I crouch resigned to call her mine. Sweet lass of Nottingham, sweet lass of Nottingham, sweet lass of Nottingham. I crouch resigned to call her mine, sweet lass of Nottingham.
What are you doing here?
I've brought my accounts for the master.
Oh, leave them on the table and be off to where you belong. Now, what are you doing?
I'm making sure they're in the right order.
Then be quick about it and go!
Mrs. Trump is always very sharp with me.
Oh, she's just a bit backwind. But you must not stay. She won't be back.
And so will I.
Nottingham to search out some information about some frame bakers said to be from these parts. Mr. Powell is at his wit's end on account of accusations.
I'm the last person to try on that sort of thing. So I rely on Mr. James to supply me with a good frame and pay me a fair wage for the work that I do. I've no grumble on that part.
It's your Joes do tell Mr. James what good and loyal workers we are, and that we would never enter into the shenanigans of frame breaking.
Ask your Joe to have a word with Mr. James and tell him that none of us bear any malice against him or his frames.
Yes.
I must say I have been very well received in the village. Everyone speaks very well of Mr. James. But there are other areas and other masters which are different. And I'm afraid there is trouble coming, if I'm any judge.
They do say some masters are using unskilled labour to reduce costs.
I know some of the families that can't feed their children on the mere pittance that they've paid. And there's talk of lower prices yet. People are getting desperate.
Well, I can quite understand their position, but breaking the law will not help and may well lead to a lot of work for the hangman. I'm afraid that these so-called followers of General Luddite are asking for a lot of trouble.
God help us all if that happens. There will be no end to it.
Well, some of us are talking about going up north to the new mills. They say that there's good money up there, so we should be able to feed us bellies up there.
Have you heard the news, Joseph? Joe Field has been arrested with some of the frame breakers.
Joe arrested? What on earth was he doing with such company?
You may well ask, but I saw him with my own eyes and I did my duty. Reported him to Constable Herring. Now he's in prison where he truly belongs.
And why should you have any reason to suspect that he was anything other than a loyal servant to myself and to our business?
I knew from the first moment I saw him he was not one of our sort. A country person like that has no place in a gentleman's household. Now he's where he truly belongs.
It's true, I've had my fears about his relationship with our daughter. I shall be happier now he's away from us.
Well, I must say I'm surprised. I always thought that Joe was an honest, hard-working lad. And I find it hard to believe that he would be such a traitor to our business. I would like to hear more about this before I condemn him. Mrs. Trumper, would you take the first opportunity to go and find Constable Herring and ask him if he will be so good as to come and see me? He knows I'm a magistrate and I feel sure that he will oblige me in this situation.
It's a bad business, Joseph. I hope you won't be swayed by any misplaced sympathy for this scallywag.
You mark my words. That Joe Field and many others like him will have cause to regret their disloyalty to the kind masters who provided so well for them. I shall go to Constable Herring as you instruct. I promise you will hear no good thing about Joe Field from him.
Thank you, Mrs. Trumper. Now, please go. And Edith, my dear, would you also leave us, please? I would like to have a word with our daughter. Emily, my dear, I am well aware of your interest in young Joe. It would not be a good match. He could not provide for a lady of quality such as yourself. You will find better among your own kind.
Should I not marry the one I truly love?
Duty first upon all lovers, know your place and play your part.
Shining looking conquer all things, give it to brings
Take your place within the structure, show the world where you belong.
nature, happiness and pleasure, lives and courtesy in the sun.
Face reality, never dream. Take your place within the scheme.
Why, oh, why does this neighborhood rise? Sweet
My girl, you are a James, my gad, and far too good for some common lad.
Oh, good afternoon, madam. Have you seen the master?
Oh, he's gone to see the sheriff about this bad business over Joe Field and the other workers.
Yes, it does seem that Joe Field may have only been there to discourage the meeting, and it may be that he did not go to Arnold with the frame breakers. But he'll have to have some very good witnesses to get himself out of this pickle.
I wouldn't like to see a man go to the gallows for something he didn't do, and they do say it is hanging for frame breaking.
Yes, but if he was found guilty, it would solve the problem of his relationship with Miss Emily.
Oh, but nevertheless, I wouldn't like to see an innocent man punished for something he didn't do. But if he remains free, then my fears for my daughter remain.
Yes, there's a merry young lady of good quality who has succumbed to the sweet words and lures of an unsuitable beau. These two must not meet again. It's all very well when a man meets a woman, confesses his love, and asks that wed. If the boy is a pauper, the girl is a lady, disaster must follow, as I've always said. Folly, oh folly, beyond our place, and trying to change it will end in disgrace. To marry a man who is common and lowly, and happiness follows as night follows day. Oh, woe and alas for my beautiful daughter, a fine girl
Folly, oh folly, we all know our ways, and trying to change it will end in disgrace. My poor little daughter, oh what can I do to prevent a disaster, avert her to do? Too sad social outcast with nowhere to hide, rejected by all, whichever their side. Folly, oh folly, we all know our place, and trying to change it will end in disgrace.
I need to speak to you urgently, my dear. Mrs. Trumpet, would you leave us, please? I've been speaking with the sheriff, and it seems likely that Joe was trying to turn people away from the meeting, and may not have been involved in the frame breaking that took place well after the meeting was over.
Yes, Mrs. Trumper reported something similar. What of it?
Brace yourself, my dear, but I have to tell you that Emily tells me that Joe came to her immediately after the meeting and could not have been involved in the frame breaking.
I knew something like this would happen, and nothing but good would come out of their relationship. She can't testify on his behalf. Think of the disgrace. A girl of her standing having an illicit relationship with one of the workers.
He could well hang if she doesn't.
She's gone! Miss Emily's gone!
Gone? What do you mean?
She's nowhere to be found. And cook saw her rushing out of the back kitchen in a hurry. Oh, and Mum, sir, it's getting dark. She shouldn't be out walking the streets at this time of night.
We must sound the alarm and call out to the watch.
Do it, girl.
Mrs. Trumper, would you go and find Constable Herring and acquaint him of the situation? Mrs. James and I will prepare to go and search.
Yes, sir.
What has got into the girl, Joseph?
She's deeply in love with the boy. If we are to keep our daughter, we must find some way to accept Joe, assuming that he is innocent of the charges against him, which seems to be the case.
Well, if that is your wishes, then I must agree. It is my duty, I do believe.
Thank you, my dear. I do not think you will regret your decision. But now please don your hat and cloak, and we must go and join the search.
Miss Emily, what on earth are you doing here at this time of night too?
Mother, Emily doesn't know what to do. Joe wants to marry her, and her father won't hear of it. But what's worse, Joe's been arrested, along with some frame breakers. They're all accused of breaking frames.
Good heavens, that cannot be. There must be some mistake. Joe would never do a thing like that.
Alas, Mrs. Bill, there is no mistake. Joe has been arrested with the frame breakers. But he was not with me when the frames were smashed. He was with me at the time. If he is to be saved, I must testify to his innocence.
Well then surely you must go to the sheriff at once. There can be no question.
But my father would never allow me to expose the family to disgrace the minute I had a secret liaison with one of the workers.
Do you love Joe?
More than I can say.
Well then surely your good name isn't worth more than the man you love.
Mackenzie, so I did not know what to do. I could not face my father, so came here in a hope of advice and understanding, knowing how much Joe loves you both, and the closest requirements.
Please excuse the intrusion, Mrs. Field, but we've been searching for Emily and have followed her trail here. And there you are, Emily. Emily, do not turn your back away from us. Your mother and I did not realise the depth of your feeling for Joe, but we have agreed that you can marry him if he proves innocent of the charges against him.
There can be no doubt as to his innocence. My Joe is as good a match as you'll find anywhere for any girl, whatever her station.
There is every indication that the lad is innocent, and he may be released at any time if the sheriff agrees.
Well, in that case, I can tell you that all will be well. I would like to make him a manager of a new warehouse that I have in mind, and if he makes a success of it, then he will have our permission to ask for Emily's hand in marriage.
And if that is my husband's wishes, then so be it.
what are you doing here?
Emily ran away from home and we found her here with your mother.
Joe, Father's agreed that we can marry and was making a success of managing a new warehouse.
Just a minute, my head's going to burst. What on earth is happening?
I take it you have been found innocent of the charges against you.
Of course
Yes,
he's
indeed.
innocent.
The sheriff has confirmed that far from being one of the troublemakers, I was trying to calm things down and prevent the meeting. There were several witnesses to speak on my behalf.
Well, in that case, I can assure you that all will be well. And if you make a success of what I have in mind for you, then you will have our blessings to ask for Emily's hand in marriage.
Well, now I see great cause for celebration. And what better than at the fair, which we all know is just a few days away.